African man. No one pay attention to what's in my head. I got a voice inside that needs to be fed. It's causing chaos everywhere I land. I got a fever. I got a fever.
Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. This is Jordan with Ohio Sports Talk. We're coming at you live tonight. We've been on a 2-week hiatus. I've had a little bit of technical difficulties this evening, for I am running the show solo. That's one of the announcements we're making here on Ohio Sports Talk. My colleague and best friend Doug will remain a producer on the show and help me run things behind the scenes. So that's going to be a big change. We also have some other announcements coming. We're moving to we're gonna be added to iHeart starting next week. We're going to be available to listen to and watch to there, as well as our regular YouTube channel and our replay here on X, Facebook, and Instagram, however you get that. So bear with me. We are going through a couple of changes. I will have some co-hosts from time to time come on the show, friends of the show, people that you've seen before. They're getting in line, so we're gonna be okay there. But after 2 weeks, let's roll. There's a lot to cover. We have the Cincinnati Bengals. We all know the debacle, the 1-point debacle over Baltimore. Joe Burrow actually lit it up 110%. But the defense has not been good enough to play. The defense currently ranks 23rd, giving up 347 yards, both passing and on the ground combined. But it's just kind of overshadowing. Joe Burrow's having a career of his, the year of his life for his career. He's 2,672 yards, first in the NFL, 24 touchdowns, first in the NFL, with a 74.3 quarterback rating overall. That puts him third in the NFL. So it's definitely not the offense. I know the run game hasn't really found itself. We've had some offensive issues when it comes to our tackles. We had Brown go down early in the season. We've had Mims had to step in after his chest injury and kind of play from behind the curve as a rookie. And then, having Orlando Brown out the last couple of weeks has definitely hurt. So, Cody Ford has been serviceable in that position, but it just hasn't given much pop to the run game. It's been all Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and that's just what they're going to have to do this Sunday evening. They're on primetime at NBC. I'll have predictions for you closer to Friday and Saturday, tomorrow and Saturday. But, it's going to be a dogfight. They are in a no-lose situation. Absolutely. They can't drop this game, and they don't even control their own destiny moving forward for the playoffs. But to me, it's just win. They got to get back to the basics on defense. They got to, provide a pass rush that's beyond, our leading sacker, Sam Hubbard and company, the help, Joseph Osai. The help's got to come. And it's just really been a really disappointing season. Losing these close games, the defense just hasn't put it together. It hasn't supported the offense. It's been one-sided. And, that just hurts. So it's something definitely we're going to look forward to. And, we'll just got to go. But, with that, we'll transition to Ohio's other problem. The Cleveland Browns go into New Orleans coming off their bye week. They made a lot of cuts, a lot of trades. They have a lot going on there. Zadarius Webb is gone. Second-year player Isaiah McGuire out of Missouri, the 126th pick from 2 years ago, is going to start at left defensive end. He's calling it in interviews, a chance of a lifetime. So we'll see what the young man from Missouri has, if he can take Lazarius's snaps, provide the pressure, and be somebody beyond Myles Garrett to get to the quarterback. They've been lacking a little bit of pass rush too, outside of their superstar. And, we'll just see. It's been kind of a mess for the Browns. They lost 27-10 to the Chargers, who the Bengals face this week themselves. So we'll see how all that goes, big time. So It's they play at 1:00 this Sunday. They're an afternoon schedule, so I'll definitely be tuning in. We know Douglas will be tuning in. That Cleveland bastard. Let's see. He's had a rough year. We've all had a rough year. We're up to 10 live viewers. We thank you all for chiming in. Hitting that support button. This is a big deal for me. So if this episode's a little rough, I apologize to our viewers, but we'll make it happen as we go. But definitely, let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about something a little bit, happier. Our Ohio State Buckeyes play an interesting game. Not that it's just against Northwestern. It's over at Wrigley Field. That's something that rarely happens. It's a historic Wrigley Field. But, outside of it being historic, outside of the location of the game, it could be kind of a trap game. Ohio State has to come out and put a stamp on Northwestern early and often. These guys are nothing not to be messed with. They're going to be dangerous. The rankings came out. We're currently at the 2 seed when it comes to the playoff race, and teams are going to salivate at that. So Ohio State, Will Howard, they got to come out early. They've got to stamp the stamp and really stomp the yard with them. And they can't look into that Indiana game that's looming on our heads. The week prior. We'll definitely cover that on our next episode, but this feels kind of a trap game for me. Ohio State, we've come out slow before. The game before the Oregon game, it wasn't passionate, it wasn't fired up. So Coach Ryan Day, he's got to get the boys together, go over to Wrigley Field, make the statement, and show them why we're the number 2 team in the nation. This has to be, it just has to be, we got to win by 30 plus. 100% honest in my mind. The defensive line has got to make a statement. JT and company, they've got to provide pressure. We got to get sacks. Jack Sawyer has got to step up and really kind of make things happen here. So it's been a long season for Ohio State, or the defensive line has always been in question. I myself have held Larry Johnson kind of accountable for the fall off in recent time. We just haven't had that statement player, take the reins. We've always had a Chase. We've always had the Bosas. We've always had the Sam Hubbards of the world, just kind of take that statement. And this year it just feels like it's been vacant. Nobody on a defensive line has been, dominant week in and week out and said, this is my position. This is my team. This is what we're taking control of. This team's really stood behind the run game and the passing game. So Ohio State's offense has always had to kind of squeeze stuff out. That defense has just not made, many stops. With the addition of Caleb Downs, and you just look at Burks, had kind of a bad season, a little bit of regression from his junior year. I still think he's going to be a first rounder and do well in the NFL, but this secondary and this defense has just kind of let a lot of people down. So they have to go into Northwestern and absolutely stomp the yard with them, make that statement win, and move forward. We just got to make it happen, folks. Definitely, it's another Saturday nooner. That's been killing it. Have not been impressed with Fox for all this. I feel like a team like Ohio State should have a few more primetime games, and it just hasn't happened. And the fact that the next week's game against Indiana is going to be at noon as well, and the Michigan game's always been noon. It's just been kind of a letdown. So we'll definitely see what's going on with them. From Matt Sense, Doug didn't make it today. Browns have them that bad. No, Doug's stepping back to be a producer. I kind of said it at the beginning of the show. It's one of the things that we're going to transition into. I'm going to be running this show solo for a little while, and I'll have guest hosts come on and off, and we'll just kind of take it from there. But Matt Sense, a good friend of mine, we played football together at Miamisburg. Big family man. Don't be a stranger to the show. Shout out. If you want to join me one day on this, we'll make it happen. Just get in my DMs, and we'll see you there. We got a transition here again, folks. It's kind of I'm kind of slow at this, so I apologize. Trying to reach our comments. So. But let's talk about the best professional team in Ohio right now. Your 13-0 Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's been absolutely phenomenal. Doug and I banged the table in the preseason and an off season that the roster itself was not good enough to compete in the East. We saw the moves the New York Knicks made. We saw the small tweaks that the Boston Celtics made. The leap forward that we thought Orlando was going to make with their young core. But all it's taken is Kenny Atkinson and his coaching staff have come in and really utilized this team to the best. I mean, we have Darius Garland's averaging 25 points a game. Donovan Mitchell's right there at 23.5. Evan Mobley is at 17.5 points per game. And Jared Allen's at 13.5. But Jared Allen is also averaging a double-double with 10.7 rebounds in that same breath. So Allen's points are a little bit down at the moment, but his rebounding and his IQ on the floor has more than made up for it. So it's definitely been good. Good, great job, buddy. Douglas, you're my brother. We'll still producing the show. He'll be on from time to time. We'll have co-hosts run through it, but back to the business at hand. The Cavaliers are absolutely killing it. They're winning close games. They played a game against the Nets where they had to come from behind. They absolutely blew out the Golden State Warriors, which came into that game. That's his number one rated defense in the NBA, and they're just finding ways to win. And that's the heart of a champion. No LeBron era team has started 13-0. No Kyrie Irving's team started 13-0. So this team's in a whole nother level right now, even with the star power that used to be on it. When you think about even the 2016 championship run, they've done it better, and they're just continuing to find ways to win. And a coaching staff, everybody looks like they're having fun. It's just been the bench has been playing absolutely lights out. Everybody's been, contributing. We've just had one guy continuing to score after another. Isaiah Okoro has stepped up the last two games, both defensively and on offense. And it's just been a really fun team to watch, guys. And this is, it's not something to be taken lightly. They start group play again in the in-season tournament for the NBA. I still don't know what the hell that means, or the significance of it. But we take on Chicago as going to be our next game for what's considered group play for the in-season NBA tournament. The Cavaliers will go and try to make that 1-0 and press on to 14-0, which is the bigger picture. We all know that the Lakers decided to put that banner up, and you just kind of move on from there. I don't think it really means anything for the end season other than bragging rights. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems kind of a gimmick. I wish we would go back to the All-Star game, having more weight and seriousness to it, other than trying to make this in-season tournament. It just doesn't make sense to me. But the Cavaliers are absolutely rolling. Their core four has been absolutely killing it. It's just been it's been a lot. It's been a lot of great things. Kenny Atkinson looks like he's having fun, and the bench has just been playing lights out. And that's something the Cavs haven't had in the last few years. But if you really go back to last season, even though we put a lot on JB Bickerstaff, and we pointed the finger there, Darius Garland still had his jaw wired shut. He went through 20 pounds of weight loss, and that had a lot of effect on his game. He didn't come back with much confidence, but now he's just putting games away. 2 games ago, he scored the last 8 points, and they absolutely killed it. They dominated. Him and Donovan Mitchell are just being the dynamic that we wanted them to be. They almost wanted to be like how we wanted Colin Sexton back when it was Sexton and Darius Garland before the trade. So this is the Cavaliers team we've been dreaming of. They've absolutely been playing lights out. A lot more to come there. We cover the games, as they happen. So, shout out to my girl. Love you too. We're trying to make it happen as we go. But, I'll learn the reins. It'll get better, folks. I know this is going to be a rough episode, so I apologize for our 15 viewers that are going through this with me. Life will get better, I promise. But we'll take a minute here. That's been a lot of good things. But I do want to kind of circle back to, we missed some things. The Bengals and Chargers. For those of you that didn't tune in early, they were my first topic. The Bengals have been kind of tweak a little bit too. I did want to kind of cover that. Some contracts. They tried to bring in some veteran secondary guys. They didn't get the contract done. That's been kind of reminiscent with this front office all year long. We didn't get the T. Higgins deal done. He's ended up playing on the tag, which is, I know he's had the hamstring issue, but in all business sense, if you think he's just missing these games because he's hurt, I personally think that it's also in a business decision not to press on, where if he was under a long-term contract, some of these games that he's missed, normal circumstances, I think he would have came back and played some snaps. But, it's the nature of the business right now. This has been one of the most disappointing seasons when it comes to free agency. Gelsecki's worked out, but, Geno Stone on the back end of the safety, it's absolutely not worked out there. He's constantly missing tackles. He's in the wrong area. He's not good communicating with the corners. Cam Taylor-Britt has looked like a shell of himself since the Kansas City game. He himself has just been kind of lazy defending crossers, not communicating with the other corners. It's just been kind of a mess on defense. We know the pass rush just hasn't been there, and it's just kind of it's going down as a wasted season. If they lose today or Sunday against the Chargers, that'll be 100% wasted season. These guys, they've got to get it together. Joe Burrow is wasting an MVP year when it comes to statistics. Jamar Chase is playing out of his mind. That price tag is only going to go up himself. We know what Justin Jefferson got, so that deal, it's going to make the Justin Jefferson deal look like nothing at this point. Jamar Chase has proved it time and time again, and we've seen what the team kind of looks like without T. Higgins. I would like to keep him in a fold, but I just don't see the front office doing the right thing and signing them both. The times of the front office signing TJ Houshmandzadeh and Chad Johnson together have come and gone. So it looks like we're not going to get the dynamic next season. But hopefully T. Higgins right now suits up against the Chargers. It would be a huge morale boost to the offense. And, we'll be able to move Mike Gesicki back to the inside and let him do his thing, especially since we lost Eric All to an ACL injury. No surgery as of yet, but he's going to be out for the foreseeable future and probably out till next year, which is really disappointing because he was kind of blossoming into that main tight end role. He was doing awesome blocks, sealing stuff to the outside, setting up screens, and it's just really sad to see a young man go. He was a second-round grade when it came to the draft, but because of that same knee injury that's lagging him now, we snagged him in the fourth round. So it's kind of a 50-50 redemption story. I think he'll come back next year stronger than ever. You look at guys that have come back from knee injuries, and it's not the same as it was many years ago. These guys are coming back stronger. These guys are coming back better. You look at the Chargers running back from Ohio State. He's come off multiple knee injuries, and he's absolutely killing it for him. So, it's definitely something to watch. I hope the young man comes back better than ever. But we got to get these guys under contract that are playing out of their minds. And hopefully Katie Blackburn wakes the hell up and we get that going. We're up to 20 live viewers. We appreciate you all for being here. It's just, again, I said at the beginning of the show, it's just me right now. Douglas has stepped back to be a producer. He's in charge of a lot of our graphics. He's still helping me put stuff together. So you won't see him on the show for a little while. I'll have guest hosts in and out. I'm going to put things together, to make that happen. And we'll see where the show goes. I have plans for it to keep going. We have some other big announcements here at the end of the show that are positive. It's not all negative. It's just been a little bit of me ranting today. It's a lot. It's been an emotional week. We had Veterans Day on Monday. That's also when I found out that the show was going in different directions. So a lot on my mind. battled a little bit of health issues myself. I've had continuous cancerous issues. For those of you that knew me from VSN before I got onto the show, I battled a little bit of colon cancer. Some of those effects have been coming back towards me for the worst, but life goes on. I'm here. I'm happy to be here. I'm going to be healthy, and we're going to move on. So that was my rant for the day. Other than that, but we've talked about the Cavs. We've talked about Ohio State and what they need to do over at Northwestern. Over playing at legendary Wrigley Field. That's going to be neat to see. Again, I feel like that's just because of location. A noon game is just kind of robbing both teams of the opportunity and what the Big Ten did in the preseason, putting that game together, because it's just a lot more than saying we can play here. They had to do a lot of things to make it a football field. So I feel like, the people of Chicago are getting robbed a little bit. It just doesn't make sense to me. Fox has really kind of let the Big Ten down this year. I'll just go ahead and say it. It's been disappointing in viewership. But, such is life, folks. But we'll kind of go on here. My news and notes around the league. We had a lot of Maction. The Mac's been playing on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights. This week, Bowling Green decided to just absolutely stop Western Michigan 31-13. Big shout out to those guys. It was really entertaining. Nice to see those guys step up. Toledo also beat up Central Michigan 37-10. That game happened on Wednesday. Game happened on Tuesday. Wednesday, the Ohio Bobcats beat up Eastern Michigan, so it was just kind of a slap Michigan around week for the MAC. They beat them 35-10. That was your Maction, at least in our neck of the woods on Tuesday and Wednesday night. We'll transition a little bit here. News and notes. UC football, they lost a heartbreaker last week to West Virginia by a score of 31-24. Really sad to see. Kind of took UC out of the Big 12 race. The quarterback didn't play his best game. He had a lot of turnovers. But we'll see if they rebound this week. They had the 8:00 game against Iowa State, 7-2. This kind of a statement game for me. A big rebound game for UC. They play 8:00 on Fox. I'll definitely be tuning in. We'll see. The keys to that matchup is just going to be Sorsby and the running game kind of refining themselves. The running backs are getting healthy. That offensive line's getting a little bit healthier. But Sorsby's he's got to slow the game down, take what the defense gives him, and they'll kind of go back to their winning ways. That's what, I know they lost the game against Colorado, but some of the great things that he was doing was just taking what the defense is getting to him. And, if he kind of gets back to that, I think UC is going to win this game, make a statement that they're still hanging around the Big 12, even though they're kind of out of it. But they could definitely take Iowa State and ruin their day, and that would be really entertaining to see. Again, that game is going to be 8:00 on Saturday. They have the evening game. Our Dayton Flyers, a little bit of basketball. They're 2-0. They beat Ball State the other night, and what should not have been a nail biter. Check out Doug's podcast, Flying with Doug. He goes in great detail and great depth on it. So we'll see how that goes. So we just kind of transition. I know we threw a lot. We've only been on for about 20 minutes. I kind of went through things a little bit quickly, but when you're not talking to another person and kind of having that back and forth dynamic, the show itself, kind of goes that way. So definitely we've covered a lot. We've covered the MAC. We've covered a lot of football, a lot of stats. Joe Burrow's wasted season. What are the Browns going to do moving forward with their young defensive players stepping up? A lot to be said for this weekend. And, we'll see how it all pans out. Still going to be live tweeting, all weekend. We're going to get our stuff together. But other than that, we have a big announcement. I'm having a brain dump on the day. Pardon me. It's going to be Monday. We'll just go ahead and double check myself here. It's going to be Monday, November 25th. Right here at Ohio Sports Talk is going to have none other than Coach Jim Trussell on. The week before the big game against Michigan, against that nasty team up north. He's going to be our biggest guest to date. He's going to come on. We're going to talk Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. We're going to talk about his coaching career at Ohio State and Youngstown State, being a athletic director there, his time with the Colts. We're going to cover that as an executive and just kind of talk about where he sees the program moving forward. What's he think about the NIL and the current state of the NCAA? Again, this is going to be my biggest show to date, our biggest show here on Ohio Sports Talk. Coach Jim Trussell is going to be on. I'm happy to break that news. It's a big, big deal for me. I was honored to get him on. Didn't think it would happen, but we are super, super excited to have Jim Trussell on the week of the big game. It's going to, we got Thanksgiving, we got Ohio State, Michigan, and here at Ohio Sports Talk, we have Jim Trussell. So I'm excited to have him on. We're going to have, a lengthy conversation just about his career, diving into his wins, his biggest regrets, his time at Youngstown State, his time with the Colts, what he thinks about the current state of the game and NIL. We might go deep into some thoughts, might be an emotional episode, but Coach Jim Trussell, what a treat, what an honor to have him here. Definitely just super excited about that. So moving forward, it's going to be a big deal. Definitely tune in. We'll remind you as it gets closer. I'll be talking about it every day until then. But just a huge, huge honor to have him on the show, and it's going to be a good one. So we've been rolling out for about 23 minutes. We've covered a lot. Thank you. We got up to 31 viewers today. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for being a part of it. I know this episode was a little bit rough. I had a little bit of technical difficulties learning the ins and outs of getting it on the air, getting the music together, making sure the banners are good. So I apologize to everybody about the roughness to this, but we will grow into it. Ohio Sports Talk is still here to stay. We're going to have Jim Trussell on in 2 weeks. It's going to be great. Can't wait to see you guys back. I will see you Monday at 9:00. This has been Jordan with Ohio Sports Talk. Everybody have a great weekend. Reflect. We came out of Veterans Day. We got the holidays coming up. Just keep your families close, and veteran or not, if you need something, pick up the phone. You're never alone. This has been Jordan with Ohio Sports Talk. We'll see you next time. Okay.